Hello everyone, my name is Nadeem Khan. Welcome to Uncommon Literature. Today I am back on my channel with one series of history of English literature. So from today onwards I will be teaching the NET aspirants and the MA English aspirants as well who want to learn the history of English literature. So the first video is dedicated to the age of Chaucer, which is the most important beginning in history of English literature. Before we start, I just have a small request to you that if you are watching this video and you are following my channel, please subscribe to my channel and also share my videos and channels to others who are your classmates and the people who are into literature, so that it can help me also and I can come up with more resources and which can bring quicker videos to you. So I am at very less resources right now and I am single-handedly doing everything. That is why the speed of the videos is very slow. So I just have a small request to you that if I get a more reach in YouTube, so I can also come up with more resources and I can come up with much faster pace with more informative videos. Okay, so let us start with the thing. So in the age of Chaucer, I have kept it very detailed but also brief, because it depends on you how much you want to go in depth. Okay, I will cover all the important points of the Chaucer's age and I will leave it on you that now you can read as much in detail as you are willing to. Okay, so for example, if you are willing to do all the minor details of it, you can read David Deiches, and or if you want to have a brief idea about it, then you can also read William J. Long. So these two books are very informative when it comes to history of English literature. So let us begin. So let us begin with the age which started around 1340s and ended in 1400 with the death of Chaucer himself. In this, before we move to the literature part, we have to understand the social, political and religious background and the changes in these three things. Okay, so first, the most important change was disbelief in the church authority due to corruption. So basically the people were becoming aware of the corruption in the authority of the church. So the people related to the church were corrupt and the common people were becoming more and more aware of about this fact. Okay, so there was a sort of disbelief. Second, there was a nationalist sentiments which was ignited by the 100 Years' War. So you must have heard that there was a 100 years of wars between England and France, and when some war is going on, obviously the people of one nation supports the country and there is a sort of nationalistic feelings in them. So when this feeling started, people started writing more and more in English. So before that the poets were writing in Latin also, French also, but during this time there was a nationalistic sentiment and people started writing in English. Okay, so next point that was important was there was Black Death. Okay, so there was a sort of plague which cleared almost 1/3 population of England. Okay, and due to that there was peasants upheaval as well. Now there is some important point related to it, that peasants upheaval occurred because of the 100 Years' War. So when the war was going on, the treasury of the royalty was getting empty. So the basically the royalty was losing its money power. Okay, now what happened, the people, the rulers started putting more and more taxes on the common people, and the people were not able to uphold these taxes and there was an upheaval sort of revolt from the peasants, the farmers. The fourth point is that middle classes were becoming stronger in society. So there were middle classes who were doing businesses and they were becoming more and more rich. Okay, also because of the Black Death there was shortage of manpower. Okay, and because of that also the prices of the labor, the wages were also going higher and higher. Okay, so the fifth point is that East Midland dialect was selected for standard English. So in this age the English was in the way to become the standardized English which we read these days. If you read the text written by Chaucer, it is not the same English as we are reading nowadays. So that is written in East Midland dialect. So basically dialect is without a sort of form of a language, so it was selected for the standardized English. Okay, so these are the important points when the background of Chaucer's age is concerned. Now let us have a look at the Chaucer himself. That Geoffrey Chaucer was born in early 1340s and he died in 1400. Okay, fortunately that he was in some government service, and because of that he met people of all the ranks, which is also highlighted in his work, that is Canterbury Tales. He has mentioned the people from all the ranks. Third point, that his government visits to France and Italy made him enrich with their literature. So basically he was on government duty, and on that duty he also went to France and Italy, and he got into touch with the rich literature of these countries, which influenced him to write poetry in his own country as well. He also got influenced by French poets. So there were many famous French poets, and he was very much influenced by this work Romance de la Rose. Okay, so this was a very famous work at that time. So its name is Romance de la Rose. Now let's have a look at the Chaucer's work. The first one is the Book of Duchess. So this was written in 1369 and it is a dream allegory. So basically you have to understand what is a dream allegory. That Chaucer's most of the works depend on the dream allegory, that it was a tradition at that time. In this age there was a tradition of dream allegory, that the protagonist, the main character, sleeps and he has a vision, and the whole story goes into that dream and the vision only. Okay, so this is also in this, that this poem was written on the death of the Duchess of Lancaster. Okay, and her name was Blanche. So this poem is also known as the Death of Blanche. In order to know about the works of Chaucer in detail, you can have that in a separate video, which I will surely add in the upcoming time. Okay, I will talk about his works in detail. Here I am just telling you the introductory information. Next work, that is House of Fame. It is in 2005 lines and it is divided into 3 books. And it is also a dream allegory, and it is composed in octosyllabic couplets. Okay, and obviously in this you can see an influence of Dante's Divina Commedia. Okay, in the next, Troilus and Cressida is a poem which is written between 1380s and its source is Boccaccio's Philostrata. Okay, and it is in 5 books and it is an epic poem, and this also you can see that some characters are taken from the Trojan Greek war. Okay, and then this poem is written. The next is the most famous work in the whole English literature, that is the Canterbury Tales. You cannot become an English student or English literature scholar without reading Canterbury Tales. So basically it is a story or collection of true stories told by the pilgrims who are from all the ranks. Okay, so I will also tell you about this in a separate video. I have also made some videos on Canterbury Tales. You can have a look. In the parliaments of fowls or birds, basically fowls are the birds, it is in 700 lines and it is also in dream allegory. Okay, and this work has the first reference to Valentine's Day as a special day to lovers. Okay, so you can read more about this work. It is very interesting. I found this work very interesting and enjoyable. The last one is the Legend of Good Women. In this is the third largest of Chaucer's works after Canterbury Tales and Troilus and Cresside, and then the third largest is the Legend of Good Women. It is the first significant work in English to use the iambic pentameter. Okay, so basically in this work he has talked about all the famous and brave women in history. So there are in total 10 stories of virtuous women. Okay, so there are so many names of the women like Cleopatra, Thebe, Dido, Medea, Lucrece, Philomela, etc., etc. Okay, so this is how we go with the works of Chaucer. So further we move to the contemporary of Chaucer. So the most important contemporary was John Gower. He wrote in French, English and Latin. Okay, so he has three major works in the three different languages. So the first one is Mirror de l'Homme. It is written in French. Second is Vox Clementis. It is written in Latin. Third one is Confessio Amantis. It is in English. Okay, so you can find more details about all these three works, okay, in the book, or I will also make one separate video on the works of John Gower. Okay, now next we move to the author of Piers Plowman. So basically there was one more famous work which name is Piers Plowman, and it is considered to have been written by William Langland. Okay, so there is the character in this poem named Will, and he sleeps and has a vision. So he also has written in the dream allegory. So this was the dream allegory was in trend at that time. Okay, so every times we have some trends. For example, these days some remix trend is going on in Bollywood, right? So at that time period there was a trend of telling the story in the vision trend. Okay, vision method. So what happens in the dream, there is a castle up at the hill and a deep valley which are symbolic of heaven and hell. Also there is a small space in between which represents the world in which we live, like the mankind lives in the world, which is in between hell and heaven. And there is also another story or the vision of rats trying to tie a bell to a cat. Okay, so this is in this poem actually. Okay, so another famous prose writer is John Wycliffe. Actually he is a person who wrote much about religion. Okay, and he is known as the morning star of Reformation. So there was a Reformation in which the the country separated from the church, and there was a reform in the religion, okay, in the Henry VIII's time. So he wanted to reveal corruption in the church, and his followers were known as Lollards, and which led to his ideas led to the Lollards movement. He is known for the first Bible translation from Latin to Middle English. Okay, but he could not complete it. The work was completed, the translation of the Bible was completed by his students named Nicholas of Hereford and John Purvey. Okay, so he has also a very good list of works on which I will also make a separate video, or you can also find it in any of the sources through which you are reading. Okay, he has written especially on the church and about religion, in order to make people aware and in order to make people know the corruption which is going on in the church. Okay, so with this we have come to the end of the Chaucer's age. I hope I have told you all the important points of it. If you still have some confusion, you can write me in the comment section. Must subscribe to my channel and share my video with your classmates, friends and the people who love to read literature. Thank you so much.